Hello everyone, welcome back to AAS Publishing. We're going to continue part 2 of the sequence on the topical corridors, and you can see I've got my AAS meeting bling on here with the corridor pins. So if you go to a AAS meeting or one of the other topical meetings that the AAS puts on, oftentimes we do have our corridor pins. They're a great hit. Pick a set up and wear them. So topical corridors. Submissions to the AAS, just as a reminder from last time, the submissions to the AAS journals go to a topical corridor. And last time we covered galaxies and cosmology. That is where most of the submissions go to. The second most common corridor is the high energy phenomena and fundamental physics. And last time we also covered the sun and the heliosphere, headed up by Leon Golub. So today we're going to cover the other corridors, and we will start off with stars and stellar physics. So my interpretation of this logo is that it's a star, it's got some sort of a magnetic field, and those are the lobes, and of course it's inclined, there's the rotation axis, and that's my interpretation of that artistic logo. So Steve Kwaler heads up the stars and stellar physics corridor. And that's usually what he tackles is the interior structure and evolution of stars, although he has also flexed his detective muscles as part of a team that solved the mystery of the VJ Day Kiss. And if you don't know about that, go ahead and use your search engine on VJ Day Kiss, and you can read about how the team figured out the time and place where that occurred. So Steve's research interest broadly covers the life and times of stars like our sun, although he is particularly interested in the upheavals between when you leave the main sequence and eventually, after a couple of events, settle onto the cooling sequence of a white dwarf. He has long been a proponent of astroseismology and is involved in both the Kepler K2 and TESS missions, and he writes that we're excited about what we can do about stars using the data that Kepler, K2, and TESS missions have and will provide in the hunt for Earth-like planets around other stars. So this corridor includes articles on the properties of stars of all masses and the evolutionary stages and the physical mechanisms that govern them. So that's sort of the broad scope of this corridor. And this includes aspects including the determination of stellar observational properties, their time variability with possible observational techniques, the investigation of their atmospheres and their internal constitution of stars, Eddington, stellar winds and outflows, and the theoretical modeling of stellar formation, structure, and evolution. That's sort of a broad range of topics within stars. It also carries on the techniques used to measure and classify stars, such as spectroscopy, radial velocities, photometry, and the production of stellar predictions, e.g. stellar evolution tracks, isochrones, lifetimes, chemical yields, star-planet interactions, etc., that are used by the community at large. So, manuscripts that are submitted to this corridor, but those on protostellar disk and the environments around star formings, stars, either theoretical or observational, these should be submitted to the interstellar matter and local universe corridor, which we're going to cover a little bit later. So basically, if it's star formation, on the protostellar disk, environments around stars, that's really more appropriate to Judy's corridor. But it's okay if you submit them to the stars, because Steve will just shuffle them over to the ISM and local universe corridor. Also related to stars, but more in the high energy phenomena, so things associated with neutron stars, stellar black holes, and other high energy circumstances associated with stars should be submitted to the high energy phenomena and fundamental physics corridor, although if you submit it to stars, Steve will just shuffle it on over to that corridor as well. So articles in the stellar corridor are published in AJ or APJ, depending on whether the emphasis is on the stellar physics side of the house or on the observational parameters of particular stars or star systems. And as usual, they are put into APJ supplements as the publication vehicle if they are extensive articles presenting significant new research. Significant new research being, of course, the primary metric for publication in all the AAS journals. So that's what I had to say about the stars in stellar physics corridor that Steve heads up, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.